excited to be here. We just had a newborn, so I don't get to get outside of the house very often. So, I don't know for any of you that have never had kids, it's a little bit like this new birth thing, it's a little bit like being chained to a beached whale. So, not only is this whale just completely, unable to do anything on its own, it's also potentially on drugs. So, here, let me give you an example. This thing will just stare at his hand for like hours. And it's like, and then it's like, why are you, kind of slurring your speech? Oh, is this a hand or is it a fin? Interesting. So then, this thing is so high on drugs, it's just so paranoid, like all the time. It's just screaming every now and like, ah! Oh, ah! And you have to attend to this. So, yeah, what's also interesting is like, it gets, like, most stoners, it gets munchies. So it wants to eat every 2 to 3 hours. A lot of times we'll ask, hey, can we go to the titty bar? And as a good parent, I have to remind it, look, it's not an appropriate reason to go to titty bars. But here, let me just list you some things that maybe are untapped, will help you fall asleep. There is pale, there's red, there is dark, and this really helps you fall asleep. So yeah, whatever, I like that. So there was an awesome time where we were changing his diaper and he pisses all over his face and all over his ear, nose, it's just everywhere, and he's actually waterboarding his own face, like struggling to breathe, and all you can do is just step back and that's just hilarious. And I thought, wow, at the end of the day, it looks like we're all R. Kelly and his victims at the same time. Then I kept thinking, wait, whatever happened to Trump's pee-pee tape? Remember that? Whatever happened to that? And it's like, wait, now it all makes sense. What would actually happen, to this person who is not embarrassed by anything? He was actually parenting. He was probably just changing a diaper for Eric. And he's like, fuck, I got pissed on, fuck! No, I could have done a better Trump impression, but whatever. But instead of that, going out into the world, he's like, no, just tell everybody it was a bunch of prostitutes off of Golden Gate Bridge just pissing all over me. That's much better. I do not ever want anybody to know that I cared for another human being, especially this one. One more thing. So, waterboarding. How is Dick Cheney doing these days? Nobody ever asks how is Dick, and I like to imagine that I hope he just kind of puts a cloth over his face and pisses all over his face and kind of goes, wow, this isn't that bad, pussies. So speaking of dicks, in this part I might need to sit down for because it gets wild. I have this next door neighbor, and so I happen to be Ukrainian, he happens to be Russian, weird. And he has this weird habit that he developed, I don't know when, he did it to other neighbors, but 8 years ago he expanded his fence to take, he just expands his territory. What the fuck are you doing? So the first thing he takes over is my garage 8 years ago. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Okay, so I go to the police station, and they're like, oh shit, we're so sorry. This happens to be the chief of police. We can't do anything about it. And wait, look, and it looks like in your police report, it says you named your garage because it's a little bit extended, Crimea River Peninsula? What the fuck is this? Is this a joke? So then I turn to, what do? I go talk to other neighbors. What's going on? And it turns out there's a neighborhood association that I didn't know about, but a bunch of my neighbors were actually a part of. They call themselves Neighbors Against Bad Treatment of Others, NABTO. That's cool. Okay, let me apply and join this association, NABTO. And they're like, wait, look, we have really high standards, something. Well, actually, the reason is that crazy neighbor, next door neighbor of yours, like kills his own family members. Like this guy poisons them if they just disagree with him. It's just weird. So we actually formed this organization just not to fucking, like we were so scared of this guy. And we kind of made a promise to him that we wouldn't let you join because he would find that threatening. I'm like, well, fuck you, okay, that's great. And then they're like, wait, but there's more. He also has been spreading so much lies about us. Like, he's been saying we're this organization that's morally superior, that we think that we're better than everybody. He's been calling us the neighbors with attitude, NWA, NWA, and people believe this shit. The Chinese neighbor is into this, like South African neighbor is completely buying it. Like, what the fuck? You know, so basically we don't want to deal with that guy, we're sorry. I'm like, all right, so I guess I have to put up with not having a garage. A year ago, this gets crazier now. So he's just completely surrounded my whole house. His dogs are everywhere, shitting everywhere. Like just breaking shit, fireworks flying, like it's not safe. Most of my family, like we're just hiding in the basement most of the time. I'll save you from the gruesome details. There's a lot more. But yeah, like, okay, so what do I do? So like, okay, oh, here's what's interesting. His dogs, he's using a dog whistle, which goes something like this. Nazi, 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 Nazi. What the fuck are you doing? You know I'm Jewish. That doesn't make any fucking sense. There's like, Nazi, Jew, Nazi, Nazi, and the dogs just, you know, okay, so they're going apeshit. Like, that is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Are you trying to get like a reaction out of me? Is it something just to get me out of the house? Are you trying to intimidate me? If you wanted to do that, just say laundry, chores, laundry, dishes, over and over again. So it's been a year and we don't feel safe in our own house. It's just like, the fuck is this guy's problem? You go to the court, we go to the courts, and they're saying, look, not only is this guy the chief of police, but he's also, he has a bunch of nuclear weapons. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Okay, so it turns out the only thing that could stop a bad guy with a nuke is a good guy with a nuke. Like, you know, yeah, it looks like it's gonna have to come down to my last resort, you know, and this is where I say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, and okay, you know, Hashem, it is time to fire up our space lasers. So, you know, it's easy, and then I thought to myself, okay, wait, I need to slow down. It's easy to villainize anybody. Maybe I don't have the full information, you know, maybe I just don't have whatever information that this person has. We all live in our bubbles, whatever. You know, everybody deserves a trial. So, you know, hold on. This guy looks a lot like somebody who maybe didn't have his mail-order bride delivered. And that mail-order bride was Ukrainian. And from then on, he stopped using the internet. And, you know, he's paranoid. And maybe he has good reason to be. Maybe it was a setup, a whole fucking setup. CIA, MI6, and the most elite and very least known, the MI6-9. That really kind of fucked him over. So, you know, like, alright, I gotta solve this. This is just not right. I get up, you know, I'm gonna give him one last chance. I walk over to his house. Slowly, I see kind of red dots all over my body already. I knock on the door. He answers, like, look, I'm gonna put down these two fingers that I was gonna stab you in the eyes with. I'm gonna put down these three fingers symbolizing Ukraine, and I was gonna uppercut you like in Mortal Kombat, but I'll put those down as well. And look, here are 2 free tickets to the Super Bowl, and it happens to be at The Hague. And look, at halftime, they agreed to let you just make your case, speak your mind, just do you. I mean, just explain yourself, you know, without any of these filters. I don't know how you can trust any of these fuckers around you. Yeah, I mean, and I'll stop right there. Basically, he looks into my eyes and says, "Wah! Wah! Wake the fuck up! I want to go to the titty bar."
Fartem, that was great.